Yo, 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 this is Original Lone Wolf coming at y'all, man. I got a heavy ass video I gotta drop on y'all real quick, man, and then I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of my commentary behind it. Or you know me, I might stop in between as we going and give my commentary. But this is a video, it says Texas governor debate. Oh no, wait. What the hell is this? Wait, hold on, let me start it over. The District of Columbia Court. Okay, so it's you are on your own. Murder cases prove you are your own first responder, right? Now listen to this video, man. This is like an 8-minute video this guy just dropped. This is some heavy stuff here, man. I'm gonna try to watch my mouth, control my profanity a little bit, but y'all know it's just, I get passionate and, but listen to this video, man. This is what I've been trying to tell people for the longest, man. We're gonna cover two things in here. One, how they want to take away all of our firearms, but they ain't said nothing about taking away the military or the government. The military or the police. They ain't said nothing about that, right? And we're gonna also cover the part about how y'all always hear me tell y'all, and ain't nothing wrong with defending yourself. You are a goddamn hero when you defend yourself. Listen to this, y'all. Check this out. Appeals has just issued a major decision on whether or not police and government have a legal duty to protect us. Now, keep in mind, guys, for any of you all who know anything about anything, y'all already know that the answer is no. There's too much case law out there where judges have ruled that the police are not out there to protect you. They're not there to protect the people. They're to arrest code breakers and to protect the corporation. There's case law on this. Check this out. Oh, and fair use, guys. I don't know this guy. Whoever he is, I don't know who he is. Fair use. I'm not trying to slander this guy. I'm not trying to drag him through the mud. I'm just using him as a way to prove something I already knew. Something that I've been telling y'all about since my first YouTube channel. What y'all finna hear in this video is the reason why y'all hear me tell you, man, ain't nothing wrong with defending yourself. But anyway. Of course, we know the answer. The answer is no. Government and police have no general duty to protect us. If we get killed by a criminal or any way hurt in some respect, that's not the government's problem or the police's problem. This is why we have to be able to. Now, 27 CFR 72.1111, right? 27 CFR 72.11 tells you that all crimes are commercial, right? There's so many ways that they tell you that they are a corporation without telling you, or without you knowing that 28 USC 3002 subsection 15A tells you that they're a federal corporation, right? We know that that's one way to find out, right? Also, y'all done seen me do videos where I didn't put out their DUNS number, I didn't put up their EIN number and all other kind of shit, right? So there's many different ways, guys, that you can tell that the policy officers, because it don't say police, it actually say policy, they dropped the Y, added the E, but the pronunciation never changed. Go back and research vowels. Go back and research vowels within the English language and you'll understand what I'm talking about, okay? Oh my God. Anyway, let's keep going. Protect ourselves in various ways, including by being able to keep, possess, and carry firearms for our own personal self-defense. Stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you about this DC case and why it reaffirms what we have always known and what has always been true, which is we are our own first responder. So now the question has to be raised is this, okay? They want to take everybody's bangers, right? Everybody's. They're not talking about disarming the police though, right? Now, if the police is a corporation, and if the police is not out there to protect the people, but instead to arrest code breakers and to protect the corporation, but yet they get to keep their guns and we can't keep ours, what does that equal? That equals mass extermination. We would immediately, if that was to ever come into fruition, where they just somehow, some way, which I don't believe it would ever happen, but if somehow, some way they was able to eradicate every firearm from any law-abiding person here, right? We will become roaches and they ass will be the raid. Continue. Another terrible instance to prove the point coming up.
Hey folks, I'm Mark Smith, host of the Four Boxes Diner, constitutional attorney, member of the United States Supreme Court Bar.
And again, fair use to Mark Smith. I'm not trying to slander this guy. I think this was a hell of a video. I actually like this video. I normally don't like a lot of people's videos, especially if I don't subscribe to you. Now, if I subscribe to you, that's different. Like motherfuckers like Red Wolf and shit. I always like his shit. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't subscribe to your channel, like I don't subscribe to this dude, I typically don't like or dislike the video. But I had to give my mans a thumb up on this because he finna he finna knock this out the park, man. And I gotta try to stop pausing it because I know the video only 8 minutes long. But he knocked this video out of the park. Check this out.
An American gun owner and best-selling author. If you have not subscribed to the Four Boxes Diner YouTube channel or follow us on @4boxesdiner on Twitter, please do so and show your love for the right to keep and bear arms as we try to expand this channel as far as we can, as fast as we can. The bottom line is this: under American law, there is no duty on the part of government or police to protect your life absent what's known as a special relationship, which rarely occurs unless you're in prison or maybe you're a confidential informant for the police. Again, unusual circumstances. And this proposition was reaffirmed in a tragic case just a day or so ago in a case called Hudboyoy. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's Nafisa Hudboyoy versus the District of Columbia. That's the name of the case. I'll put a link to it down below. In this case, what happened, it was a terrible story. You had a man who had committed apparently murder about 20 years ago. He was exonerated from the murder charge on the grounds that he was mentally insane. He was then committed. Many years later, in the year 2003, this gentleman by the name of Hillman Jordan was let out of the mental health institution, back out onto the streets. While he was out on the streets, he illegally acquired a firearm and then threatened to kill one or more people. He was then recommitted into the mental health institution and was kept there. Then, a few years ago, Mr. Jordan was released and moved into an apartment above a man named Mr. Buto, Joade Buto. Now, it turns out that Mr. Jordan had a tendency to smoke a lot of pot, and everyone in the apartment complex knew it. But nobody in the apartment complex apparently knew that this guy was a murderer who had got off only by virtue of claiming insanity and was found to be insane, and then had been recommitted to a mental health institution after threatening to kill multiple people, one or more people. Nobody in the apartment building knew this, including Mr. Buto and his wife. So then what happens is, unfortunately, Mr. Buto complains via email about the fact that Mr. Jordan is making a lot of noise, staying up all hours of the night, and apparently smoking marijuana. Then what happens is that Mr. Jordan somehow gets access to this email and realizes that his neighbor has complained about him to the superintendent or the building owner, whoever it was. So what does Mr. Jordan do? Of course, we know what he does. He kills Mr. Buto. He kills him. Now, a lawsuit ensues by Mr. Buto's wife, claiming that the government of the District of Columbia failed to act reasonably and thus acted negligently, and that was the cause of Mr. Buto, the husband, being murdered by Mr. Jordan, and that the government of the District of Columbia should pay Mr. Buto's wife compensation for the death of her husband. So what did the court say? Well, the trial court said, sorry, we understand that the government knew that Mr. Jordan was a murderer, had been found insane on multiple occasions, had killed people before, he had threatened to kill other people before, and that he moved into the apartment. And moreover, one of the 17 conditions that Mr. Jordan, the killer, had to satisfy was to not use illegal drugs. And it turned out that the government was testing Mr. Jordan for drugs the whole time, and lo and behold, Mr. Jordan was caught on multiple occasions having ingested and used illegal drugs, marijuana. The government knew this. So not only did the government not tell anyone in the apartment building that they had a murderer living amongst them, they also also, when they realized that Mr. Jordan was committing all sorts of violations of his conditions of release and should have been returned back to the mental health institution, the government says, nah, don't worry about it. It's good. I know he's violating the conditions of release. We don't.
That's how you keep the system going, guys. The system is self-fueled. It's self-propelled. You understand? This is how you keep it going. Look, y'all gonna have to excuse me with this video because I stumbled across this. It kind of got me passionate. So, you have to forgive me. But what he is telling you in this video is the truth. This is the truth, man. This is how they keep the stuff going. It makes them rich. Haven't you ever noticed, like in murder cases or this, that, and the other, like my last name is Tankersley, right? Let's say I went out and I murdered somebody unjustly, right? That would be considered murder, right? Haven't y'all noticed it's always the state of Illinois or the county of whatever versus Tavares Tankersley? It's never John Brown wife, who was the motherfucker, I shot her husband. It's never, his name was John Brown, her name's Shirley Brown. It's never Shirley Brown versus Tavares Tankersley. It's always the county of Cook or the state of Illinois versus Tavares Tankersley. Why is that? It's for one reason and one reason only. It's about money.
Whatever, let him out. We're not going to do anything about it. Well, of course, by virtue of letting him stay out on the streets, Mr. Butool was killed by Mr. Jordan. And what happened? The trial court says, sorry, nothing we can do. No obligation to protect you. The government doesn't owe you a duty to protect.
And that ruling came from case law. That ruling came from case law. What case law, Lone Wolf? The case law that's on the books right now where it tell you that police are not there to protect the people, but instead they are there to arrest code breakers and to protect the corporation. That's the case law that they use to tell her to scram.
The police don't owe you a duty to protect you. Sorry, you have no claim. So this goes up to the Court of Appeals in the District of Columbia, and the District of Columbia, citing to and relying upon, among other things, the Supreme Court cases of DeShawnee versus Winnebago, as well as the town of Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, says, sorry, government and police have no duty to protect you. We appreciate you trying to get around this with exceptions. It's not going to work here. Sorry, Mrs. Butow, you've lost the case. I'm sorry you lost your husband to this crazy guy who murdered him, but it's not at the end of the day, we're not going to pay the bills. We're not going to pay you any damages for wrongful death or negligence or anything. And the Court of Appeals says, yep, that's right. Sorry. No legal obligation. So again, my point here is this is another example that you must always remember that the government and the police have no duty to protect you. You must tell all your friends. You must let people know.
So how is it that when you speak about Article 2 of the Bill of Rights, which you know of as the Second Amendment, how is it that when you read the entire Second Amendment, okay, you get past the part, because everybody like to recite the part about, oh yeah, it shall not be infringed. Right, okay, that's great. But there's one more important thing within the Second Amendment than it shall not be infringed upon. And that is that the right to keep and bear arms is for a tyrannical government. Why don't you never hear nobody talk about that? Why is it you only hear people talk about your right shall not be infringed, but they never tell you? They basically what they saying by your right, it shall not be infringed is, when you got rights, you got rights. They can't be taken away from you by nobody, right? That's what that part mean about it shall not be infringed. You can't take away somebody's rights. That's all that means. The most important thing about the Second Amendment is they are telling you that when the police get out their body, you're supposed to put them in their place. When the federal government, the state government, the local government, or whatever, when they get out their body, you're supposed to put them in their place. And or get rid of them altogether. Now, I'm not exciting violence. I'm not telling nobody to go out and harm police. I'm not going to tell anybody to go out and, harm members of government and this, that, and the other. I'm not telling you that. I'm just using this video as a way to make a point. When Michael Jackson told you, all I want to say is they don't get repaired about us. What he say? All I want to say is they don't really care about us. You know what I'm saying? He was right. He was right. They are not there for you. That's why everything, when you get pulled over from a traffic stop to the time you get to court for that traffic ticket, those are commercial terms. Those are corporate terms they're using. When the cops pull you over and they talking about you operating a motor vehicle and all of that, that's corporation talk. And here it is, people still don't get it.
Because when they say, let the police come and save your life, the police should have guns, but you shouldn't have guns, they'll take care of business. You know and I know you call BS on that immediately. And if the government really intended to protect our lives, they would at least be legally responsible for doing it. And if they fail to do so, they should be paying major damages to crime victims and to...
They're not responsible for doing it because they're not a government. Government and corporations is not synonymous. Those two words do not have the same meaning. They don't. These people are not here for us. They're not. I don't know why other people need somebody to handle their affairs for them anyway. If they're not like wheelchair bound or bedridden or something, or like mentally retarded or something. I don't understand why you want to let somebody else do it for you anyway. Here it is, right? Let me give you an example of what I mean when I say I don't understand why people would want to do that. We leave it up to total strangers to teach our children, right? Now they want to teach the children how to suck cock by the time they're 7 years old, man. How is that not an example of you letting somebody else do something you should be doing?
their families. But the government's like, no, we're not going to do that. So we're going to pretend that we owe you an obligation. We're going to pretend that we have a duty to protect the public, but it's all BS. Because legally, if there is no remedy, if you cannot sue them in court or put them in jail for failing to do their job, guess what? They don't really have to do that job. There's no remedy. There's no right. If you have no remedy against the police or against the government for failing to protect you, you have no right to that.
You have very little remedy against them at all. How in the hell are they there for you? How, man? How? That's just like the situation that happened with me and me taking the Child Protective Service judge to court along with the social worker. For y'all that's been down with my first channel, man, from y'all that's been with me since my first channel, y'all know that I broadcasted every aspect of my court case. And I'm not talking about necessarily the case when they was dragging me into Child Protective Service court. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about when I was dragging their ass into court. You think Michael Otto gave a shit about me? Down at the Daily Center, 50 West Washington, up in room 1907? Michael Otto, Google him. Michael Otto, who was the fucking magistrate that presided over my lawsuit. You think that man gave a rat's ass about me? You think he care about me? You think he care about my son? Do you think he care? This is another video right here that should help eradicate some of this fear that you all may have. I've talked to some of y'all about this personally. A lot of y'all can reach out to me via phone, email. A lot of us are friends on Discord and the whole 9 yards. A lot of y'all can reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? Many of my subscribers can reach out to me, period. It's just that simple. And y'all done heard me tell y'all what you scared of. What are you afraid of? You know what I'm saying? And don't misunderstand me. Fear is a damn good thing. Fear is one of the things that get your adrenaline pumping. It's not necessarily a bad thing. What's bad about fear is when you allow it to control you. Okay? It's just that simple. You heard my man's, what was his name? Mickey. He was Rocky's manager. He was his corner man. Remember in the first Rocky, when Apollo was beating the piss out of him, he came back to his corner and he told him, he's like, I'm scared of him. And what did he tell him? You got to use that against him. Use it against him. Let that be your strength. Let your fear be what you use to go ape shit on him. Use fear as a weapon. Don't let it work against you. Because after hearing something like this, After you hearing this, and y'all know me, I go out of my way to try to prove my point, even if it's through a screen share. You know what I'm saying? We did a couple of Zoom meetings, and I was showing people stuff in the Zoom call. I was sharing my screen with all the people that was in the Zoom call so they could see the stuff that I was showing. I like to show and tell. I like to show people. This is another prime example of how sick and perverted this world is. You want to take guns away from all of the people, right? You ain't talking about taking away weapons from the policy officers. You ain't talking about taking them away from the ATF. Hell, you talking about arming 87,000 IRS agents. And nothing within the IRS is law unless you're a public official. If you hold a public office, they tell you this in Title 26 of the IRC. We covered this. I've made several videos in the past on this channel here, showing this. So if we can't have guns, but they can, what does that mean? It means mass extermination, period.
Bottom line is, you are your own first responder. The police are not first responders. They are second or third responders at best. You're the first responder that deals with the criminal, the sick person, the fire first. So never forget this for 1 second. Okay, I hope you learned a little bit something about this tragic story and this terrible precedent, but it is the law of the land.
This is so sad. It's so sad, but it's not true. I mean, it's so sad, but it is true. Excuse me. I hope this helped y'all, man. I hope this helped you all understand just what the police is all about. God, I can't stress it enough, man. There's no other way. If you all don't get this after this, then what else can I say? What else can I say? This Original Lone Wolf, man. Much love to y'all. Shout out to my new subscribers. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be dropping some stuff in the upcoming days. And, for all of y'all who probably wondering where I've been, you know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm still trying to work this little tacky ass job. Right along with, trying to get some other stuff together before it's too late, before we can't do certain things or because we can't buy certain things anymore. So I'm trying to handle a lot of stuff. Plus, y'all know from my original channel, I told y'all I'm not going to be on here every day making 2, 3, 4 videos a day. I ain't doing it. I'm just not going to do it. People are going to have to get off their ass and people are going to have to help me. Help me like I'm willing to help y'all. And I'm not talking about with money. Y'all already know that, especially the ones from my first channel. Y'all already know that. I ain't never asked y'all for nothing. I've had people offer to give me money and I turned them down. I don't want no goddamn money. I want peace, man. Money don't buy you peace and it don't buy you happiness. Straight up. Now, if you can offer me peace, I'll take it. But if the only thing you got to offer is money, nah, y'all keep that. I'm straight. All right? This is the Original Lone Wolf, man. I hope this helped y'all, man. Much love.